Hey Floss Tube. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I am the Route 66 Stitcher. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. I think my last Floss Tube was December 29th of last year. This is Floss Tube number 13 for me, and it is the first one of 2023. I, like a lot of people, got really busy at work at the beginning of the year, and then life is what happens when you're busy making other plans, and I hadn't had a lot of time to stitch. So I didn't have a lot to show until recently. So without further ado, let's get started on the stitching. So I have a lot of finishes to show you, and fully finishes, and they're all really small. But I have been doing Janine McGowan's The Blue Flower. Greyhound Year is what it's called, and I've been doing all of them as separate monthly stand-ups, and I've been doing them in memory of my Greyhound Seamus, who passed away a few years ago. He had been rescued, and so I had finished January, and I am doing all of these on 25 count Lugana over 2, just to make him big enough for kind of a stand-up and have some kind of a presence. And he was a black greyhound who, of course, in his elder years, got a little touch of white on the muzzle and the neck area. So that was January. And February. And March. His money's kind of crooked there. Like most greyhounds, he was a retired rescue racer. So he was terrified of the cats, so I can understand why he was retired very, very young from racing, because he probably would have been terrified of the fake money as well. So, and April. And then I have May. In May, I had some buttons that were flowers, and I think I got a little too carried away with the buttons. But there was nothing else I was going to use those on probably, so why not? So that is where I'm at, is up to May at this point with the Seamus Memorial flat folds. Those are my first flat folds. They looked really easy until I started doing them, and it was like 8 hours later I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, so hopefully I get better and faster at that as I do more of them, because I still have the whole rest of the year to finish. Another thing that I've been working on is I've actually been working on some punch needle, and these are Carla from CGK's bowl fillers, Christmas bowl fillers. And yes, you have seen all of these before. I made a set that I gave away at a Smalls exchange last year. And of course, I didn't have any for myself. So I just finished them as small little pillows. I haven't decided yet whether I want to put some trim around a couple of them or not, but I now have my own set, which I'm really happy with. Getting started on Christmas early. Another full finish for me is Michelle's of Momma Loves You GB. Flights of Angels, the Memoriam to QE2. And I finished that with some black silk, funeral-y kind of memorial ruching on that little bunting. And then I just finished CR3. So Union Jack. And this is simply Patriotic Smalls by Samplers and Stitches. And I'll put all of the information down in the description box for all of these, of course. And so those are my full finishes, fully finished objects since we last talked. I do have some finished objects that are not full finishes yet, but hopefully will be soon. And first up is Dirty Annie's. Not My Pasture. I picked this up at Galleria last year. It was the Silver Needles room. They had these laying next to the register when you check out, and they were completely an impulse buy. And Mona saw me looking at it, and she was like, you know, you're going to buy it. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So I did. I bought it, and I have finished it. I did not use any of the called for. I just used what I had in stash, and a lot of it, the cow is Sulky from, it's the color from the Moo the Merrier Sulky kit that came out a few years ago. And then just some random stash. And this is done on, this is a 40 count linen that was a grab bag from Mystic Fabrics. So Not My Pasture. I have also completed Plum Street Samplers Raccoon Rabble. It's an older one. This is from 2020. So a pandemic ago. And I have completed it. And I have used a lot of the called fors on this with just a few of variations. I put some beads on it to make it a little more dimension for some of the rosebuds instead of the French knots. And this is on a 25 count. No, this is not 25. This is actually a 36 count linen in Witch's Brew from Mystic's Fabric. And so there we go. Raccoon Rabble. I have also finished August. August is the one of the series I am up to. I only have September, October, November, and December left to stitch. All of the other months are done. So I have full finishes to do on June, July, August, and then I still need to stitch September, October, and November. Another one that I picked up when I did my last pilgrimage to Silver Needle is I saw the stitched model and I was like, I really have to own that. It's a really old one. This is copyrighted in 2008, and it is Something Wicked by La Di Da. And I did this on, this is 28 count Lugana called Butterscotch Cookies by Fabrics by Stuff. And I did this with all of the called for except for the wording. The wording I did in Weeks Dye Work Terrapin instead of the called for DMC color. Let's see. Yeah. And I'm not sure, I've actually floated back and forth with doing a little antiquing spray on this. Not sure it's grungy enough but I haven't quite made that decision yet. So finished this one as well. And then Barbara Anna came out with her ode to David Bowie, and it's called Star Woman. And I was able to finish that up as well. It was I think it was a 3-part SAL or a 4-part SAL. And this is on a 36 linen. 36 linen from Mystic Fabrics called Witch's Brew. And Witch's Brew is something, it's a beautiful modeling. Witch's Brew is something that Misty has as part of her normal dye process. And she turned out pretty. She's my first Barbara Anna. She will not be my last. I have no idea what I'm going to do with her, but I just can't, I can't walk away from something that's David Bowie adjacent. So she's done. And then I finished my Christmas Day start. If you watched the December 29th video, you'll know that I had started on Christmas Day Santa Quill by Long Dong Sampler, and I have completed it. I completed this back in February. It was a super, super easy stitch. I stitched this on 40 count Be More Pacific linen by Mystic Fabrics, and I stitched it 1/2 with DMC 310 and B5200 Floche. And so it was really, really fast stitch. Really, really fast stitch. Just doing the Floche and not having to worry about getting things lined up, and it turned out fantastic. And I see a project bag in its future. That's what I think. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So those are all my full finishes and fully finished objects and onto whips. I picked up at Silver Needle when I was there as well. It's my first Mill Hills, and it is Mill Hill Advent Trilogy, and this is set 1. And they're just little postage sized stamps, and I have 4 of the 9 done without the beads. I don't have the beads on those yet. I'm going to do all of the cross stitch first for all 9, and then go back and do all of the beading. I don't think that I'm going to be a Mill Hill person. I'm finding out I'm not really a perforated paper person. I stitch two-handed. I always have it in a frame or in a stand so I could actually stitch two-handed. And having to hold the paper that I can't crumple and maneuver into the position that I want to maneuver it in to be able to stitch has been difficult. So this has been kind of a slow go. The good thing about this is this is actually my travel stitch, because I can see this without lighting or glasses or any special anything. So that's my Mill Hill progress. I've also been working on my Black Highland Cow by DoodleCraft Designs. And it is coming along. In a second. Not as fast as I would like. This is on Nutmeg by Atomic Ranch, and is 28 count to show off the design of the blackwork. And some of the colors really pop on this fabric, and some of them really don't. So like this whole green, this whole green section in here doesn't even really show up doesn't show up well on camera. It doesn't show up well in person either. So even though the colors, when I chose this fabric, really looked good on the fabric and really popped, the fact that I'm doing it with just one strand to show off the delicacy of the Blackwork work design has doesn't work for some of the colors in just one strand. So I'm going to take out all of that green, and then I've got this other little green up here that's a different green that doesn't show up really well either, and find some new colors. And I think that that's going to be, but it's going to be super, super cute when it's done. Just going to take more work because I'm going to have to find different colorways for this. And so the coup is coming along. And then, as always, I have my peppermint purple Blackwork SAL going on every year. And I'm all caught up again this year. I'm going to try to get the borders in. I have a couple weeks off in June. I'm going to try to get the borders in. This is on 28 count opal Gilded by Mystic Fabrics, and it is using Sulky 4055, which they call navy blue. It's one of the blendables. And so it's coming along really nicely as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. And last but not least, for the whips that are still ongoing, I mentioned in my last video that my New Year's Day start was going to be a Chatelaine, and it was going to be Winter Watergarden. And I am doing it on 28 count Vapors by Atomic Ranch. And this is where I have gotten so far. I've gotten the medallion done except for the beading and the specialty stitches, the center medallion. And that's going to be actually a few hours work to get all of that done. A lot of it in filling in the spaces here are all blackwork, single strand blackwork. And I've decided this is going to be a long, long stitch for me because I don't like dealing with all of this fabric and trying to keep it from becoming not too wrinkled and not too frumpy, because I'm never going to be able to wash this and iron it in the manner that it would probably need if I was to actually get it all in a grime guard appropriately. And so I work with it in a much bigger frame that I'm dealing with, and it's just, this will probably be my last thing that's this size that I'm never going to be able to wash. And I'm never going to be able to wash it or iron it appropriately because of all of the over-dyed specialty fibers. So, yeah, probably my first and last Chatelaine. But that's okay. That's okay. I did drop some stuff down here. Okay. What do I have for stash? Well, I bought Plum Street Samplers Rack Stack. This is an old one as well. This is 2019 she came out with Rack Stack. I'm really kind of fascinated by her rack stacks. I don't know why I'm into her stacking animals, but I am. So that's on the list to do next. And then I picked up at Nashville Market, I picked up, had ordered Dirty Annie's Y'all Ain't Right. I work with an individual that is from a very small town in the Appalachians, and I hear this every day from her. Y'all ain't right. And I'm doing it. I've also got it already kitted up on Atomic Ranch. Nutmeg, same as the Highland Cow. Yeah, with a combination of all of the called fors and some stash. So that's going to be a Christmas present, so that's something that's going to be prioritized to get done and off of the list. Picked up a new Nurge for that to go in. I picked up at Nashville Market as well. I had ordered the new Glorianas, and they're beautiful. I have no idea what I'm going to use them on, but I just love the way they feel. And then I picked up the Treenway package for tea time, and I didn't order any of the patterns, but I did. I'm just a sucker for fibers. I just love the way silk feels as well. And then, of course, my Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I have Silk of the Month. So, January, February, March. I also picked up a few new needle minders from Needle Attractions, Kim. And I picked up Wicked. And they're all stuck to each other. Isn't that great? There we go. Princess Bride, Twin Peaks. And Ruth. And Buffy. What's not to like about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? So, yeah, that's the haul that I have since we last talked. It's not much, but it's what I got. And almost all of it is actually just silks. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate you checking me out. I know you have a lot of options out there, so definitely do appreciate any time that you spend with me, and I definitely appreciate all the comments, and I wish you well until we meet again.